Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Spectators. I'm Mama Tater.
I'm Big Tater.
Today we're going to talk about the NBA. In particular, we're going to talk about game number one of the championship between Dallas and Boston. Before we get into it though, don't forget, please support our channel. Hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. Also, send us your comments and your feedback. Hey, and we're on Patreon too. We love to have you as a supporting member. So let's check out this clip from game number one. Well, what do you think about that?
But everybody wanted to know how Porzingis would look coming back. Would look coming back. Could he slide them puppies, as they say, defensively? Could he have some impact on the offensive side of the ball? Well, folks, you have your answer.
Yeah, I think Boston is a different team when he's on the floor for sure. He presents all kind of matchup problems for Dallas. Um, he can shoot from outside. He's definitely functional in the paint. He's a defensive threat. When it comes to protecting the rim. So Boston is much more you know, well-rounded, I would say, when Porzingis is on the floor compared to, man, I'm forgetting the guy name right now, the bald head guy. There was
Al Horford.
yeah, Al Horford. Why I can't remember the guy's name? Sorry, y'all. Al Horford. Now look, I will take my hat off to him because he is a big part of why Boston is in this final. He was instrumental in playing the role when Porzingis was out. But Boston is a different team with Porzingis on the floor. I think they went and found the key piece that they had really been missing that will take them over the edge. I'm predicting they're going to beat Dallas in five.
I don't think it's gonna be five. I think it's either gonna be 6 or 7. I'm gonna get that out the way right now. I think it's gonna be 6 or 7. Kyrie's gonna be more better than what he was his first game. He's gonna get his shots up. As far as for Luka gonna have to make well, it ain't gonna decision. Luka just gonna have to man up, point blank, period. Because Boston is not gonna stop exploding, putting Luka in situations. Because clearly you can see Luka was gassed. He was tired. He was tired. Though he kept asking for a sub and everything else. My man, you're gonna have to man up. You're gonna have to man up. You're gonna have to start accepting and taking that challenge on and playing some defense. Because Boston ain't gonna stop. They're gonna keep giving you that work, and they're gonna make sure that they make you work.
Yeah, well, look, I would say this: we know that right now Luka is not 100%. He's battling some injuries. We saw it in the previous series where he was really struggling at times. But like you said, what I liked about him in the previous series is that he did man up. He just at some point between him and Kyrie, they figured out if we don't do it, it's not gonna get done, right? And this is the same situation here against Boston. Boston is hungry. They have been so close to winning so many times, and they feeling like it's our time. Jalen Brown is like a man possessed right now. He's like, you know what? Y'all can say what you want to say. I came here to play ball. I'm taking this ring home. Y'all can do what you want to do. And you know what? If you don't have that kind of mindset, you will let Dallas back into this because they're not going to run from them. They do learn and adapt very well. I will take my hat off to Jason Kidd. Exceptional way his coaching is concerned. He really is a man of the game, but of course we know that. I mean, and he understands how to make adjustments to come back and take advantage of the other team's weaknesses, if you want to say Boston has any, right? But like, I agree with you 110%. For that to happen, Luka gonna have to man up. He gonna have to be willing to play hurt if he want a ring. No pain, no gain.
So on that note, though, game two is gonna be very, very different. Now Boston has a reputation of losing game twos, but if you go back to that series with Indiana, they finally managed to win the game two. So we're gonna see will they continue that trend or will it go back to the old way as always. Boston losing game two because Boston does have a trend of having a hiccup
Yeah,
here or there. So
yeah, I
we will
agree.
see, and I think Boston knows that they're gonna have to bring it game two because they know that Dallas is gonna come out very, very different next game.
I think, Boston, like you said, they have the reputation of taking their foot off the gas at times and allowing teams to creep back in. And and if I'm fair, in last night's game, you saw that happen. In my mind, they had that game locked down, but they let Dallas slowly creep back in there and get as close as 8 after being ahead by 20 points or more. And they let Dallas get back into, drop it down to an 8 point lead. Well, you can't continue to do that and not expect Dallas to take advantage of it. I will say that. They have some killer instinct in them too. But like you said, for Dallas to get over the hump, Luka is gonna have to man up and not be willing to, just let it ride. He
Yeah,
can't. He
though.
can't do that.
Yeah, though, and don't get me wrong, Luca balled out. He dropped 30 in
Yeah.
that game, but but there was some spots where he gonna have to man up.
Well, I'm gonna say
Because
this.
Boston kept making them work on the defensive side for sure. They didn't allow him to just lollygag on defense so he could save his energy off of the offense. No, they made him work. That's why at times he was gassed and he was tired. But he's gonna have to take that. He's gonna have to take that challenge head on defensively. You're gonna have to man up because Boston not gonna stop. They're gonna make sure that you work on their defensive side. They're gonna wear them out.
And also, if I'm looking at as far as bench contributions, I think Boston does have a bench that's a bit deeper than what Dallas has. And so that means that Boston can swap in players like a Horford, and give, Porzingis or whoever might need a rest. They got players that can do that a little bit better than Dallas. I saw Dallas using their bench last night, but the bench didn't give them as much of a contribution as I thought they could have. They didn't give them as much of a contribution as they needed. And you mentioned that Luka dropped 30. 30 is not going to win them a championship.
No,
It's not. It's
no,
not going to win them a
no, it's
championship.
not.
Luka got to be somewhere about the 40 range, and Kyrie got to at least get to better than 20. I mean, that has to be consistent if they're going to take Boston out.
Nothing wrong with dropping 30. I'm saying defensively, Luka gonna have to accept that challenge.
Yeah.
He can't just lollygag on defense and save all his energy for the offensive side. No, Boston is not gonna allow him to do that. They are gonna make him work on that defensive side.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, the ball in the hoop is what wins the game. And Luka he has to take mentality the way Jalen Brown did last night. He was like a man possessed, like he was gonna score. That was his main mission, to score. And Luka has to have more of a killer instinct as well, or he has to be willing to give up the ball sometimes too.
That's true too, because defensively Boston was on them like white on rice. As some of them series you looked at it, they're like, bro, we not gonna let you get nothing.
Yeah, right. And when you're being pressured like that, giving up the ball is what eventually opens things up, because if you got another player that you dishing the ball to and they can score, and Luka can pass.
Mhm.
He's a good passer. So he got to be willing to give up the ball when it's appropriate, but he also got to be willing to be the killer when he needs to be. And we know he can do that too.
Yeah.
Now look, I'm going to just say it off the top. I am not a Dallas fan. All y'all people from Dallas out there, I'm sorry, but I do not like anything that comes from Dallas. Okay, Cowgirls, Maverickas, none of them. Okay, and and as a fan, I'm not a Boston fan either. But I think that this is an example of a great series because you have two great teams, and you have great coaching, and it's about who can execute their strategy. And last night, Boston showed that they got some strategies that y'all gonna have to deal with.
Oh, most definitely. And don't get me wrong, not all of this is on Luka. Kyrie has to be better too. The shots that Kyrie normally make, he missed them.
Right.
But that's not gonna happen all the time. You can guarantee Kyrie's gonna get his shots up.
I agree, but here's the thing about when you're in a championship match, that off night is the thing that'll kill you.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
And most definitely. And Kyrie knows that because he's been there and he's done it.
Exactly. Right.
It,
Yeah,
you can bank on it. He coming.
He coming. I know that. And look, while I said I'm not no Dallas fan, I love Kyrie Irving. I just hate that he played for Dallas.
And another thing, the X factor is Dallas bigs. They're gonna have to come and play because it didn't matter who was guarding Porzingis, whether it was Lively or Gafford. Porzingis was cooking.
Yeah.
Also, old man Al, he was cooking too. So
yeah,
Dallas bigs. That's the X factor in this series. They're gonna have to bring.
I would have to agree because they're gonna have to find a way to kind of slow Porzingis down. If they can do that, they might have they might open up things in a way that'll allow them to get their scoring going. Get some fast breaks going. Some easy buckets, some steals, transition plays. But a lot of that hinges on how they match up with Porzingis, and can they neutralize him? So I ain't gonna say stop him, but can they make it so that he is not as much of a factor as he was last night?
But that's why most people got Boston winning this series more than Dallas. They got people that got Dallas winning this now too, though. But you got a lot more people that think Boston gonna take this because if you look at it real closely, if you cancel out the backcourt duos, Tatum and Brown and Luka and Kyrie, if you cancel them out, Boston has way more because who else does Dallas has at this point if you cancel them four out?
Right. Yeah, because while Lively has shown that he can produce, and they got some other guys coming off the bench that have shown that they can produce at times. I don't know if over the course of, let's say, a 5-6 game series that they're going to be able to match up with Porzingis and Horford in an effective way. So that, I agree with you that.
Not just that though, but they got Drew.
Yeah.
Even Derek White is balling.
Oh yeah. So, I saw a few plays last night where Drew Holiday just, he walks to the basket. You can't let him do that kind of stuff. And those buckets were the things that when Dallas was getting closer, narrowing the gap, those simple buckets was what kept Boston, kept that gap wide enough to where Dallas really couldn't do anything about it in the end.
And I'm not saying that P.J. Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. can't ball. They can ball. And don't get it twisted, y'all. P.J. Washington and Derrick Jones, they can ball. They just had to step up. And also, I think what else Dallas needs to do, they need to utilize Hardaway Jr. some more.
Yeah, because he
comes off the bench.
He comes off the bench, and he's a scorer.
Yes.
Yeah. So they need production from their bench. That's exactly what I was saying. When it comes in terms of who used their bench more effectively in Game 1, I would give that advantage to Boston, right? And for Dallas to be able to give Kyrie or Luka that minute break or whatever at times, they're going to have to be able to utilize their bench, and the bench is going to have to be productive, right?
Yes.
So, it remains to be seen. I'm picking Boston in 5 or 6. You're saying it might go to 6 or 7? We'll see.
But but I'm also leaning towards Boston too. I think Boston going to.